What's up, peers, and welcome to Bitcoin to the Max, here on the World Crypto Network. What is a private key and how is it used in Bitcoin securely? Well, in general, a private key is a password that you could use for your email or for any other service. But in the case of Bitcoin, you use this password to lock up your money so that not everyone can use it. Specifically, though, the private key is just information. It is a non-scarce good. And this non-scarce good can be shared with many other individuals. And as soon as you have shared this information, you no longer are the only one that has access to it. And these other peers that you have shared the information with can share it with other people. And of course, ultimately, one of these individuals can use this password to gain access to the Bitcoin. So it is important that this private key is information that only you have access to. A secret, something private. And this non-scarcity is an integral part in any information. However, in the beautiful system of Bitcoin, this knowing this information gives you access to these very scarce Bitcoin. So we found a way to manipulate information and our speech ultimately to gain access to something completely scarce that is, though, still based on code, software. On a more technical side, though, a Bitcoin private key is a really large number. The possible number space is 2 to the power of 256 bits. So basically, there are more possible numbers in this number space than atoms in the universe. It's gigantic. As a matter of fact, it is so large that when we randomly pick out one of these many, many numbers, we can be pretty much certain that nobody in the history of the universe and nobody in the hopefully endless future of the universe ever has came up with this specific piece of information. Nobody has seen or heard or spoken this information, and because we can be quite certain of this, this is a information which we know only we retain, or you as the user. This extremely large random number, and the random number is quite important, because if we would take a non-random number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, well, this has probably been heard or said or spoken by someone previously. So the password 123 is not a information that only you have access to. It's something that we all have access to if we think about it. So this number has to be chosen randomly. And well, we humans are not so good with choosing huge random numbers. That's just not how our brain works. And what is a really easy way to get access to randomness? Use a coin. Throw it in the air, see where it lands. If it lands on heads, just write down a 1. If it lands on tails, write down a 0. And the probability of it either being heads or tails is pretty much 50-50, random. And so if you throw this coin 256 times and add all these ones and zeros, well, this ultimately is a Bitcoin private key. It is a large number that has been chosen randomly, and thus we can assume that only you have access to this non-scarce information. So this private key can be made up by anyone. You don't even have to be a human. Actually, machines are really good at spitting out random numbers. And so your phone can do this easily, or your laptop, or, well, coins, right? Generating this private key is not not difficult. It's quite trivial. But guessing it a second time is pretty much impossible. So with this scarce information that only you have access to, you can control your Bitcoin. The question is, though, do you ever own your private key? Well, no. Why? A private key is just information. It's a non-scarce good. And are there property rights for non-scarce goods? Well, no. Because Alice can easily share this information with Bob and she still retains it. If I copy my private key and send it to you, I still have the original copy and you have, well, the same information. So I can share it with you without losing access, without losing control over it. And therefore, it is non-scarce information that nobody owns. So you never own your private keys, but you can use the exclusive access to this information to control your Bitcoin. And if you are the one that has access to this private key, and you're the only one, then we might argue that you actually do own your Bitcoin, but not the private key. Thank you, Piers, for joining me here today on the World Crypto Network for the show Bitcoin to the Max, which is a Patreon and Tallycoin contributors early bird show. So if you go to tallyco.in/HildebrandMax, or if you go to patreon.com/WCN, and you chip in just a couple Satoshis per month, then you get access to this information as soon as I produce it. Otherwise, one video a day. That's how we roll. Thank you very much for joining and see you on the next show. Bye-bye.